Today, I'm going to be using these simple ingredients to make another ingredient. An ingredient that could then go on to make many amazing dishes, or even yet another ingredient. Hello, my name is Ben. Welcome to my channel where I'm trying to master the art of living, unbelievably. Chicken stock. There are seemingly infinite ways to make chicken stock, but a simple rendition I've made many times just involves the most humble of ingredients that centers around a roast chicken carcass. I try to make the stock within 3 days of when the chook was cooked, and they always work out just perfect. So I have a chicken carcass here, a couple of large carrots, a tiny onion, a clove of garlic. I will be using 5 black peppercorns and a bay leaf. I could also easily add a couple of stalks of celery or up to a few parsley stems, which would deepen the flavour of the stock even more, but I don't have any on hand. Salt is optional, but I prefer to leave it out in case the dish I use the stock in doesn't require any more salt. The stock turns out more versatile this way. Apart from the chicken carcass, I could technically leave out basically anything that I don't have on hand and it's still going to be good. Much better than throwing out a perfectly good chicken carcass. So I'm going to prepare the ingredients now. I'm going to rinse the carrots, then chop the ends off. Then I'm going to chop them chunky so they don't fall apart and mush up the stock as they soften. I'll then add them to the bowl with the bones to save on extra dishes. It's all going in the same pot anyway. I could even just add everything to the pot as I go here, but I already had the carcass in the bowl. So I'll chop off the ends of the onion, then chop it in quarters, saving time by leaving the outer layer on because we'll be straining it at the end anyway. I'll simply squash the whole garlic clove with a large spoon. I'll fish out 5 whole peppercorns from my grinder, 1 bay leaf, and then add them to the rest of the ingredients. So now I have all the prepped ingredients in one bowl. I've got a small stock pot, although any kind of pot or saucepan will do, as long as it's tall enough to submerge the ingredients without easily spilling. I will turn the hot plate onto a medium-high heat and simply add the bowl of ingredients to the pot, along with 6 cups of water, preferably hot water measured out in something heat-proof. Normally I use 8 cups here, but I wanted this batch to be a bit more flavourful. As long as your ingredients are covered, you're good to go. If not, you could add some more water to cover them, and then simmer it down with the lid off for a while at the end, which I try to avoid because I'm going to use more energy to keep a simmer with the lid off. Anyway, I'll put the lid on and then wait for it to start simmering. So now it's 15 minutes later, it's starting to boil, so I'm going to turn it down to a lower heat. Which didn't turn out to be low enough because now it's 20 minutes later again, 20 minutes since it started to boil, and it's boiling way too much, so I'm going to turn it down some more. Which ended up okay because here at 1 hour since boiling we have, what looks like to me, a nice simmer. That actually looks like it could be a touch lighter, so I'm going to turn down the heat a touch. Here it is again, 3 hours since boiling, and I'm just going to give it a light stir, then put the lid on for the final stretch. You do want to stir it a bit throughout the simmering process, but only lightly, as rough stirring will cloud the stock. And here we have it at 4.5 hours. You could go shorter, you could go longer, you could go much longer. But I've got to go out and I'm not leaving the cooktop on while I'm out, so this will do. Usually for a quick chicken stock I would go for around 5 hours anyway, so it's close enough. And now all I'm going to do here is take a heat-proof glass jug, and if you use glass here you definitely want it to be heat-proof because the rapid temperature change will easily shatter normal glass. Alternatively you could use something metal or even something ceramic. So I'm going to take that heat-proof jug, put it in the sink in case of spillages, put a metal mesh strainer on top, then simply pour the contents of the pot through the strainer into the jug. Give it a chance to strain, remove the strainer and voila, beautiful chicken stock. If you need it more clear you can use a finer strainer or restrain it through a finer strainer. If you don't have a strainer yet, I think I've even used a colander before, although this would obviously allow some small chunks to get through. You can use it straight away, fridge it for a few days or freezer it in portions for up to 6 months if stored properly. Soups, rice, roux and more. There are an infinite number of ways to use this amazingly tasty and nutritious ingredient that I've made today, made with what some people would consider a few scraps. And that's it for now.